And hello everyone, hello world. Another Thursday, Sasha is here. Another episode, everything you wanted to know about dogs, but you didn't have whom to ask. And again, in this craziness of everything that's going on around this upper respiratory infectious disease, I want to touch base because all of the recommendations, aside of not taking your dog into crowded spaces where the dogs are, at the places where the dogs can get in close proximity, or in which the possibility of the air not being well filtrated can be a kind of like exposure to possible infections. Everyone is talking about increasing the quality of the dog's immune system, since there is a lot of unknown to this disease. There is no significant like a cause. We don't still know, is it a virus, is it a bacteria, it's some mycoplasm or whatever is going on there. And there is no the disease doesn't respond well on the all known cures. And it's quite fatal, because a lot of the reason why the people are scared is because there is no immunization at this time. So there is no known vaccine for that yet. So only one thing that we are left to deal with and to interact with is immune system of the dog. How we can raise the immune system of our dog and get it ready to fight any disease, including ones that can come in this time of uncertainty. Still, since the way the humans interact with the nature at this point, we will never know when a new outbreak of new and unknown diseases, when we can tap into unknown, and as the result, we can get all kind of unknown diseases to be cured. So the only way that we can actually focus now on would be to focus raising the immune system of our dogs. And all the recommendations oftentimes come, give them to eat this, give them to eat that, avoid this, avoid that, avoid all kind of things. Just the problem becomes like the key component, that is where the Pure Love and Harmony wellness formula stands aside. Because it's not enough to treat our dogs with and give them the right food and give them everything that can boost the immune system. The very important thing that there is no magic pill for that, yet impacts the immune system of the dogs the most, is the human-dog interaction. How do we interact with our dogs and our perception of their needs, causing them to live in life of anxiety, raising high, spiking the adrenaline level, spiking the cortisol level, not because they are drinking or eating or doing something wrong, but because the way we interpret their needs puts the dogs on the greater path of suffering, because we do not understand their basic communication and we are lacking the basic communication. Oftentimes, what's considered a happy dog, based on the deep insights of the well-established science, but available to us for decades, that we learned about wolf-human interaction. It's actually so-called hyperactive and anxiety, hyperactive anxiety. So what we pursue as happiness, what we perceive is, my dog is following me everywhere, my dog is happy, my dog is doing this, my dog is doing that. Actually, now there is a new term to that called hyperactive anxiety. So the dog doesn't know how to calm themselves. And they're going to act frantically and they're going to act hyperactively in order to lower and try to lower the stress by putting the body in the state of anxiety, hyperactivity. So from that point of view, anything we give to our dogs, anything we try to make them eat or supplement with, wouldn't give enough effect if our relationship with the dogs wouldn't be on the level of appreciation. So I was talking about disorders of love that are established, and the first talking about that was English scientist called Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, talking about so-called morphic fields. The morphic fields are fields that are connected members of the same species, because the morphic, that's the name of the morphic, means shape, or let's say shape of something. If we take a cell from our arm, and we take a cell from our knee, not necessarily we would be able to recognize which cell is from where. However, there must be some pattern, some idea, he said, some greater intelligence that guides all kind of cells to organize themselves into a shape of the human body, or into a shape of the dog body, or into shape of the plant, or into shape of any other species on this planet. Where these informations come from? Because he said the cells are the building blocks. So the cells are the blocks based on which the human body, any body on this planet, is built of. But who owns the construction plan? Who owns the how you call that word is architectic plan of which block to put where, so the shape appears as a result. So his amazing theory about the same species connected through the morphic fields, and then within the same species there is a lot of different layers of the field. For example, there is a field of the species that connect every single species together. Then there is a field of the organized, then the members of the field organize themselves within the fields of the country, everything that we do belong to, like a country, a city, a family, of course. So there is a morphic family field. And within that field, there is a laws in which members of that field are drawn to each other, and which laws apply to interaction of the members of the same field. And there he talks about epigenetic being memory of how is to be operated within the field of the family. And our self-awareness raises a possibility of us expressing ourselves in unique way. That's not more than 1% of our individualism and the free will that we can apply if the laws of love, which operate within the same field, are applied. Some of the laws of love would be orders. So now, in order to achieve and to express and to feel love that holds the future, love that has a future, we need to organize ourselves according to the certain laws. There is the laws of, now when it comes to orders of love, there are three fundamental laws. Law of order, so everyone in the family, in the system, stays on its rightful place first, and stays at the place where he can or they can contribute to entire system with a less energy used, or even best, less energy lost in a process. Otherwise, wanting to fit cause a tremendous loss of energy, tremendous loss and a tremendous not only loss, but also impacting the others with a force, pushing them out from order. So that's very important. The order, the structure. The structure is very important for every single group, especially for the family. And it operates within the family field. The next important law is a law or order, a law of belonging. Everyone belongs. Everyone, once you get a right to belong, you belong forever. No matter what the other thinks or want, that place cannot be taken away. However, because we always have all of those stories, hidden stories from the family, members that we don't talk about because they are, they committed something, they are not the brightest part of the family. A lot of children, of course, that die of young age, the painful stories of their life. Some of them not even get a chance to be born. Every single one of them belongs to a family system and without creating space for them, for their order, they would look for being presented themselves through the representatives. And that's where the dogs play significant role in our life, taking role in order to represent someone or something that's excluded, so the law of belonging cannot be applied to a system. So by sacrificing their life over the dogs, they are tuning into a role of someone and something, helping systems survive, yet sacrificing themselves and the entire system to the greater cause. So idea of the evolution, an idea of the systemic survival, oftentimes is on the price where the system itself sacrifices the individual for its survival. And of course, the third very important law is law of taking and giving. So the law must be applied, otherwise the relationships usually fell apart. So if we are all prone to give more and to always give and give as much as you can and just give. And when it comes to receiving, we are not actually able to take, because we all expect to receive, where actually the law is giving and taking, not giving and receiving. Because the receiving is a very passive way of getting something. I'm here and I wait to receive whatever, and then I belong, and then I kind of like I'm in a way of will I receive? Are you good enough to give it to me? Am I worthy of receiving? And all of those ideas are starting to spike. But when you have an understanding the law of taking and giving, then it's a real action of ours to go where ours is and take whatever ours is. So, what this has to do with the dogs? Oftentimes, what we tend is to apply these laws that operates within the same field, the morphic field, within the species. We try to apply among the fields of the different species, where those laws doesn't apply. Now, to be more specific, I cannot love my dog the way I love my fellow human, even though I oftentimes feel the same love, even greater love than I feel towards any human. I know that from myself. What actually the feeling of that is, that's how do we feel harmony. How would you describe harmony? And can the harmony be felt? And what the harmony actually is? And the greatest way to describe the harmony where the harmony actually is to be created, if we are interacting with the beautiful music. So when you hear the beautiful music actually, when written in the laws of harmony, triggers a lot of beautiful emotions within us. And what actually happens there is that we get all kind of internal joy triggered by the wonderful harmony that we heard, processed with our ears. So it's processed with our senses. We hear the music, and then those senses triggered a beautiful joy felt from within. Then we can radiate outside by expressing joyful behavior or joyful thoughts or joyful actions based on those thoughts. Those same principles apply when we interact with the dog, because the same laws apply in interspecies connection. Where the trouble starts is when I want to project the human traits to a dog or to a certain part of the world, because I do not feel them among fellow humans. So I always love my dog, and that's where the little interaction and entanglement comes. I love my dog the way I want it to be loved by my parents. Now try to feel yourself. Try to put yourself in that thoughts. Did I ever in my life felt being loved as I'm loved by my dog? I can certainly talk from my experience out of living with 35 years, actually 50 years, and out of those 35 years, strongly and very closely connected to a dog, professionally and privately. I never felt as much as loved through the life as I was loved by my dogs. And I must be honest to myself, until I didn't met my husband at this point, I can feel something I never felt in my life. I feel loved, and I feel worthy of being loved, and I love. But now I know that the way I'm connecting with my dog is the different way I connect to my husband, to my ex-wife, to my kids, to my partners, to my friends, to my students, to my audience, to everyone else. Now I can feel that by observing this idea of emotionally separating myself from emotional entanglement with a dog led me to a wonderful relationship I have now. So how do you, and not only relationship, are the relationships, every single one of them I feel worthy of. Or the ones where I don't feel worthy or treated the way I can provide, in a way that can put me in a place out of which I can shine the brightest possible me, are the relationship that on some stage I live very on ease. I'm able to go away on ease without turning them into a war. Even though some of them are once like a war kind of, but it's a one-way war. I do not fight back. Neither I feel I should. I just protect myself, the dignity, and I do what's needed to be done. But there is a limit that I do not cross. And I learned, and all of those traits I learned from dogs. And that's what the order of harmony, that gives a possibility to the human-dog interaction to blissfully and joyfully kind of creates the foundation in which dog-human communication is built on the foundation of respect. Because now, when we know which are the laws of love, we need to understand which are the laws of harmony. So the laws of harmony start with respect. I need to respect another species for what they are. Because if I don't, I will project my human traits on them, causing pain and suffering to both, to me and to the dog, let's say, go in that relationship. Because the dog cannot reply to me on my language. The dog cannot understand what the dog understands is intention of mine that creates thoughts, that creates language, that creates words, that creates what I talk to my dog. But until I'm telling to my dog, it's already too late. The dog already knows what I wanted to tell them. So where do this come from? Respect. Because the dog do respect me for where I am, but I do not. Am I respecting the dog where they are? Respect leads to responsibility. Another very important law within the order of harmony is responsibility. Once I respect my dog the way the dog is, with all the needs of the dog, I have a responsibility to act accordingly. To learn the language of the harmony. So I'll be able to communicate with the dogs on their language, which is body language. It's a language of action. Doesn't mind what I think or say. It's what really matters is what I do and the context I'm doing it in. That's a responsibility. Oftentimes to do much difficult things that are to be done rather than which I want to do because they are much easier. That's a law of responsibility that arises from the law of respect. Responsibility, and then the last very important one would be law of dignity. With your actions, you will never, and we mustn't ruin the dignity of animal or anyone that we interact with. And the dignity means rightful, purposeful life, and rightful, purposeful death. And there is a very important thing, because out from our own fear, not being able to face a suffering, what we do to our dogs is we euthanize them. First, we put them on the life that's full of unrespected decisions and ways that ends up putting the dog on a path of suffering, which the dog can cope with that until their organism do not collapse. And then they collapse in a certain ways that do not provide them dignified death. Because in nature, usually the animal dies simple way, or they are killed by, most often happen, killed by another animal out from necessity of protection or being need for the food. Or, like elephant, they don't have any natural predators that are actually, they are dying themselves on the dignified way by going away from the herd and dying themselves. That's the name of my book that I'm finishing slowly, and I think it's going to be done by the end of next year, called "The Dogs Are Dying Alone." What are we doing to our dogs by treating them first, providing them the circumstances in a life by communicating with them, feeding them, having all kind of emotional entanglement? It's an emotional abuse that actually results in entire dog's body collapse. And then they cannot die easily. They need to go through the suffering in order to die. And not even then, they don't want to leave us, because during the life, they respect us. And they see, because we projected the way and we talk to our dogs emotionally. And emotional language in nature is always leading to certain death. So it's not the nature has their own laws. Those are no laws of nature unknown to human. There's almost every single law is explained by the very exact physicist and known and unknown. Every single one that you talk to, no matter are they philosophists or physicists, mathematicians, no matter whom you talk, starting from Tesla ending with the young, every single one of them, when you ask them, basically on the end of their careers, do you believe in God? The question would be unanimous. I do not need to believe, I know. So all the laws of nature are explained, majority we know, not by actually meaning understanding them and knowing them, but we feel their effects in our lives. And because we are not connected to those laws, the dogs feel that we're going to pay the price sooner or later. And in their little mind, they cannot connect with us as we're going to live like 10 years, 15 years like them. They think we're going to live like them forever, and we're going to separate, and if they're going to leave us by dying, they're going to make us suffer without them, and that's why they are not dying in peace and dignity. They want to stay with us as long as possible without getting a chance to, without we are not giving them a chance for the dignified death. What would that mean? That means when the time comes for dogs to go, usually the rightful dog and the dogs that are happy, healthy through the life, they would go away from the family in the corner of the room, in the corner of the play of the family place or whatever, and they would fall asleep and they will never wake up. Dogs die alone. What we do, we are not able to let them go like that. And then, by not letting them go, we cause that undignified death to them by putting them to sleep. We have all of this movement, like let's take these dogs and, don't take them from shelter, take them from shelters because they're going to be put down. And then what we're going to do, like the same thing, just 10 years later, we're going to put them down anyhow. If my perfect world would have euthanasia as something that's forbidden, it's not, you can call it euthanasia, but actually it's a merciful killing. Killing someone because I think they are suffering. And then you have, for that concept of life and death, Mother Teresa was criticized a lot. Because what she was doing in India on her centers for dignified death, she was criticized that she didn't provide a proper care for the people that are close to die. On contrary, she said, I provide them a path to heaven through dignified death. And when you put that, you don't need to, go too much and too around. Like, you see, when you have someone you love, I was so blessed that unfortunately, I cannot forgive myself that I was not by my mom's side when she died. But I was by my grandma's side when she died. And I was panicking. I was panicking at first. And at the moment, I would say, like, what she would love me to do, what she would love me to do. And oh my God, and then I remembered, like 30 years, like 45 years before she passed away, she started to teach me a couple of prayers. She was a very religious woman. So what I did is, I remember, I pulled them out I didn't use them through the life, but I remember them. And I slowly started to whisper them on her ears. She was we were in the ambulance. She was sitting in a wheelchair and I was sitting behind her. So I put my head on her shoulder and slowly whispered those prayers in her ears. And I felt her last breath. I felt her breathing in last, and I felt breathing her out last. I still don't remember more precious and dignified moment of my life rather than that one. Being by someone you love so much meant so much to you. Letting them go and being there for them. That's a big imprint of my life. And from that moment, my relationship with death itself completely shifted and changed. I'm not scared of it anymore. And the same way, when we interact with our dogs, the idea of letting them go, that's how we call that. It's not merciful killing, it's not euthanasia. Oftentimes the term we use is, I put my dog down. That's exactly what we did. We put them down. We betrayed them. Because we were not strong enough to cope with the consequences of our own actions. Because the dog's dying in that foreverness, not being able to transition, is the direct cause of way we interacted with the dogs through their life. With how we communicated, what did we fed with them, and the way we treated them doesn't bring them to a point of peaceful dying. So when I said, how would you love? And why the wellness formula, pure love and harmony formula, why that formula is so important is because if I do everything described in that formula, the time will come when the time is for my dog to leave this world. And if I do everything from my heart in service of love that holds the future, that moment gonna be full of joy, in peace, and in dignity. Why the dog suffer? Why the dog doesn't want to leave? Why the dog need to suffer in pain and in such illnesses and diseases and everything that they need to go through in order to transition to the next world? We cannot witness what have we done to them in order to bring them to that point of unpeaceful, undignified transitioning. And then what we do, we kill them. Going through, I try to be very, very gentle. But within myself, I'm burning to death trying to talk about this without pointing fingers, without loud voice, trying to be polite, saying something so important in order to pass the message, to advocate to stop euthanasia of the dogs, and start on time building a peaceful transition. Today, you can start incorporating life that will bring them to the moment when they're gonna need to say goodbye, to say it peacefully. When time comes, we all need to go. The question becomes of way we are living. So, when last time we were talking about these emotional entanglements, and every single emotional entanglement prevents us from interacting with one on the rightful, respectful way. So, and how did we ended up here, starting from the talk about respiratory illness? Because the most important thing about respiratory illness and this disease is immune system. Now, it's not too late to start, better ever than never. But it's very important to understand that the idea of dogs developing a well immune system starts with respect of the dog's needs that we discharge on a daily basis over and over and over and over and over. What happens? A very physiological reaction to that is adrenaline spikes, cortisol spikes, immune system lowers. Simply as that. Survival mode. Why dogs are in survival mode? Because we are not taking the lead. We do not act responsible. We don't act responsible towards our animals. It's because we don't know how to act responsible towards our own life. We are in relationship we do not cherish. We are in the marriages with the people we don't love. We are in the businesses we don't love to go on. We are with the friends that we do not we gossip around. That's what we are irresponsible of. And then when you turn it to a dog, of course we're going to take all of that irresponsibility and project it to them, telling them how great they are and how beautiful they are, how replacement they are to everything and anything that we are missing so much in our life. So I promised you last time, as we went through that little meditation, who didn't went with me through that, you can look at the back and look at another live stream that was a week ago, and I was inviting you to come to the journey with me to discover and uncover the truth behind our emotional entanglement. Because why the detangling the entanglement is very important? Because when emotional entanglement prevent us from acting with our dogs on the level of their need. And by over-humanizing the dogs, we write then the death sentence. They are just on the death row. It's not a matter when, it's not a matter if, the matter is just when and how they're gonna die. Over-humanization. So how do you know to separate fluff from real things in this world? Look at for the companies and see who is providing you with the services and tools, literally, that they are pulling you down the rabbit hole, selling you stuff for your children in a shape of a dog. That's company, and those propagandists are directly responsible for feeding your anxiety and not letting you get emotionally detached, but emotionally more attached, because that's how they're gonna force you spend more money on the shit. And why if you start to see all of these necklaces and colors and these beautiful fashions and all kind of things that actually prevents you from getting with that dog in a relationship of the respect, it's helping you get even more emotionally attached. And the idea is freedom. When we go through the emotional detachment, the idea we is looking for is a freedom for both involved in the relationship. And then they remain in the relationship not attached but they remain in relationship by will and togetherness and unity. Because the relationship serves better of both, not only one. Only that love has the future. That's the love that holds the future. All the rest of the loves are actually killing both. So how do we connect with our dogs? And there is, for every one of you that want to explore a little more, I offer private consultations in the Order of Harmony, and a little more about that you can look on my webpage, pureloveandharmony.com, and then you have a section talking about Orders of Harmony, and there you can schedule a private consultation where we can actually dive into a deep individual entanglement, and then we can detangle emotionally and connect with much more deeper level with your dog. So, but to get there, here is a little exercise you can do. We started it last time, and I'm gonna take you forward today. So that whoever and whenever you're watching this, and if you are with us today, like you can just do it yourself now with me. Like center yourself deep with your within. Just slowly focusing on your breath. Close your eyes, focus on your breath. Slowly start being aware of exhales and inhales that follows one another. At the same time, become aware of all the surrounding, the chair you are at, or the couch, or anyone in a room, anyone around you. And now, with awareness of that around you, and awareness of the breath that we were just experiencing, so the self experience the world around us, and now all of those experiences bring to heart. And now become aware of your heartbeats. Heartbeats that are happening without our will, that are happening from the moment we got a life as a present, and it will remain like that until our time of service in this life here and now is finished. All of that happening without any of our conscious awareness. Stay a little bit with your heart. Now open your eyes, and if you have your doggy around you, just look at them. Look at your dog and become connected with your dog. Usually when we do this exercise, soon you start focusing on your breath and start to becoming awareness of your surrounding, and you focus on you are then fully embraced and present in the moment. The dogs tend to get relaxed. So if the dog is around you, just find a place and just slowly observe your doggy. Observe your dog. Every single thought that comes, just let them go. Just become aware of them and just let them go. Don't bother with them at this point. And now, as you look at your doggy, now try to close your eyes by 70%. So look the dog through like 30% of your eyes open, and try to bring them in the fogginess. So you just see the silhouette of your dog. And now become aware and space around the dog. And slowly become aware of much more than the dog. And now I want your intention to transcend the dog and to see. This is a very important question, and I want you to focus just a little bit. Follow my just moi, hear my voice. See who is or what is around this picture of a dog that you are actually experiencing now. This wholeness of your dog includes whom or what. And now I want to invite your thoughts. Now thoughts are welcomes, and all of these ideas and thoughts that you might have in your mind might give you the answer. You don't necessarily need to be cognitively aware of who and what you are thinking or seeing through your dog, but you try to become aware of they or that or them. That might be a person, event, whatever comes through your doggy. Also, if you have any body feelings, any sensations of your body, you can invite them, become conscious of them as well. Like you might have a chest pain or something else you might experience. Just let it be, allow it to be. And then say them through your dog. Tell them, I see you. I see you. And I feel you. In my heart there is place for you. In my heart there is place for you. With you in my heart, now I can live my life. With you in my heart, now I can live my life. And you, Henny, for example, my dog, now you're talking to your dog, I release you from your role of representing something I welcomed, or someone or something I welcomed in my heart. It's not yours to represent it anymore. Thank you for your service. In that end, I set you free. I set you free. stay with that a little bit more. Again, observe your body. Observe how your body reacts to all of that. Observe all comfortableness and uncomfortableness that might be experienced. Bring attention to every possible place of discomfort that you might experience in your body. Just bring attention slowly to that place and just say, thank you. Breathe in that place as well. And again, slowly become aware of entire place around you. All of the experience that we went through, bring to your heart. Become aware of your heart and the beatings that are happening without our will. Bring those experiences and attentions back to the breathing. Become aware of your breath. And with all of the experience from this exercise, you open your eyes slowly and become fully immersed in this moment here and now, and fully present. I was talking a little more about this phenomena in my book called About Dogs and Awakening. You can look for it on Amazon. A lot of cases about human-dog entanglement symptoms that might be experienced by the dogs. And this is what's my specialty actually become by merging and bringing closer family constellation therapy to a human-dog interaction, because I found the missing puzzle called order of harmony, because we cannot interact with the dogs based on the laws that we interact with other people, with other humans, because those laws are in between two species. And respect, responsibility, dignity are the laws that need to be implemented as an order of harmony when we interact with someone else rather than humans. And the humans are operating among themselves through the order of love that involved order of order of belonging, and order of giving and taking. Also order of love, and order of belonging, and order of taking and receiving, taking and giving are all laws that operate within every single species, among the dogs as well. But then if the dogs want to interact with humans, as much as the humans want to interact with the dogs, and the humans want to interact with with the oceans, with the whales, with the dolphins, with the birds, with the anything, we interact with all of that non-human animals and non-human world through the orders of harmony. And only when we are interacting with others, with other species, based on orders of harmony, we can provide and we can start building the immune system of our dogs on the foundations of the respect. And that's the problem. That's the problem, because why only? Because here is the one thing that I slowly want to bring to a conclusion, this today podcast, that dogs are emotional animals, and we can feel that in interacting with them every single day. If they are emotional, it means that they are conscious. If they are conscious, the question becomes like, do they have a soul? Of course, I would vote for that, because emotions and soul and conscious would come to be like a very important parts of our spiritual evolution. And the dogs and the wolf and the entire that journey is a source of the human spirituality. So the dog's healing cannot just be looked through the prism of material world, of symptoms. We need to get deeper in the cause of those symptoms. And the cause of those symptoms as a human-dog interaction and the laws of harmony that are not in order. With that said, I wish you a wonderful week ahead. Already almost we have only 1 week ahead of us till Christmas, and slowly we are getting into another chapter of our lives. 2024 going to bring a lot of possibilities, and I wish you all the best in time to come. Happy holidays on Mondays to every one of you that's going to celebrate Christmas on 25th. And then I'm going to see you next Thursday at 7 p.m., right? Eastern time, in another episode. Everything you wanted to know about dogs, you didn't have whom to ask. And we're going to go through another emotional story about how the soul of non-human animals are actually to be respected, which kind of responsibility we have towards them. We have responsibility towards them, and which kind of dignified way we can look and find in order to live in a life of pure love and harmony. Thank you, everyone. Wish you a great week ahead, and see you next week. Bye.